you, bold boy.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Nobody Asked But. I'm your host, Tarek Bryant, and today we're going to start off slow so we can get into the nitty-gritty and the fire that was this movie. On the 20th of July, 1973, martial artist and actor Bruce Lee passed away due to swelling of the brain. Leading up to his passing, however, he left behind a legacy that was built on foundation of philosophy of his own choosing and integrity, and you know what, I don't know how to start this. I had like papers sprawled out everywhere trying to figure out how to begin to describe this movie. If you haven't figured it out right now, today we're going to be talking about Enter the Dragon. I bring this up because Enter the Dragon is celebrating its 50th anniversary. 50 years, man. Since this iconic film hit the screens. Fathom put on an event that brought it back for 2 days, and I got to see it. So like I was saying though, the movie is him. The movie is Bruce. He embodies the film, not only by giving the cast and crew advice, directorial advice, choreographical, is that a word? Choreographical? Fight choreography advice. You gotta understand, Bruce was doing this stuff before he even entered Hollywood. He was, when he got onto Enter the Dragon, the man was already a veteran of this type of craft, let me tell you. And we're gonna get into that today. Word of martial arts, because of Lee, spread throughout America. Hollywood was curious of what this could bring to the industry, if you know what I mean. It featured two ethnic leads, Bruce Lee and up-and-comer Jim Kelly, with John Saxon, fulfilling this Americana Neapolitana. During this time, America is not the America we know now, okay? This is gonna be a good one, guys. It's gonna be a good one. With iconic imagery and story that would go on to inspire millions. Directed by Robert Klaus, starring Bruce Lee, John Saxon, Jim Kelly. Nobody asked me, but the journey to Enter the Dragon is just as iconic as the movie itself. Click the like button, share it, that'd be dope. Let's get into it. So, Enter the Dragon follows Lee, a Shaolin martial artist, okay, who's recruited by British intelligence to go to a tournament, a martial arts tournament that's put on by none other than your boy Han, who was a former Shaolin monk turned drug trafficker and pimp. So, they're, talk about branching out and doing other things. Yeah. Okay, so Lee has to go to this island, and as he's being told about this, he's also told that Han's bodyguard is responsible for Lee's sister's death. Yeah, what drama. During a Hollywood that was very prone to downing minorities. So you had blaxploitation going on, pimps, womanizers. You had Asian Americans being portrayed by Caucasians for the most part, and if not, they were mainly the villains. So there was a lot of stereotypes going around Hollywood, and Bruce was like, bro, I have none of that, okay? Because of all of this stereotypical bull that was going on throughout the industry, unfortunately, Warner Brothers wasn't ready to bring on an ethnic lead. Meanwhile, our boy Bruce Lee is on the Green Hornet as Kato, the sidekick. So this was a big deal, not only for, I think, America, but for Bruce too, because he's finally made the transition into American mainstream television. It's just one more hurdle till he gets to big screen. But unfortunately, the Green Hornet is canceled. He decides to move back to Hong Kong. Well, he was born in San Francisco, but he moved back, he grew up in Hong Kong. Moves back to Hong Kong and is discovered by none other than Raymond Chow. Cue the funky music, okay? Raymond Chow is a G. When I tell you that this guy was just as much a pioneer as Bruce was when it comes to films and bringing a type of do-it-yourself mentality to the industry, dude, Raymond Chow. He created his own production company, Golden Harvest Production Company. And I remember seeing this. Like, I remember that when I would watch Iron Monkey, all the Bruce Lee films, because he sees him on a television spot busting boards. He's like, yep. Because he explains, the audience knows what's real and what's not real. You know, if you show someone who claims he's a fighter or pretends he's a fighter, the audience will pick up on that. You show somebody who's an actual martial artist doing these things, and it connects. Literally. So Raymond Chow signs Bruce to a 3-movie deal, 3 pictures, Golden Harvest deal.
He became miraculously successful. I mean, he became like the Beatles.
After signing with Raymond Chow, Bruce goes on to create The Big Boss, The Fist of Fury, and The Way of the Dragon. He kills it. The Big Boss is a box office success. He gave Bruce that opportunity. He gave people that opportunity to see martial arts movies done differently, done edgy. Bruce came out of nowhere in Hong Kong and just killed it. I mean, The Big Boss was a box office smash. So I read that there were 4 billion people living in Hong Kong during the time The Big Boss came out. 1.2 billion went to go see this film. That's almost like half that's a lot of people. And so imagine how many went to go see the follow-up, which was Fist of Fury.
Swan!
I loved Fist of Fury. Holy moly. Lee's intensity and depth between emotions, sadness, displayed heavily through his rage, dude. Like, I mean, that rage, yet the reason why he's fighting, the reason why behind the fists is just as deeper as it is when they're delivered. And when they are delivered, it comes across so elegantly, so beautifully portrayed as if it's ballet, to the point where when the death blow is delivered, it's sweet.
Bruh.
Ah! Sorry, lost myself there. What are we drinking today? Celsius. Dude, I'm hooked. Hey Celsius, man, if you want to sponsor me, can I do that? If you want to sponsor me, let's go. The man knew what he was doing, and Raymond Chow knew that he knew what he was doing. When you open your eyes up to the universe, you allow yourself to see the possibilities. It's up to you to reach out and grab them. And Lee grabbed him, man. Even if he couldn't reach him, he was like, that's okay, there's another one over here. Makes The Big Boss, breaking box office records in Hong Kong. 1972, Fist of Fury. 1973, The Way of the Dragon. Destruction, dude. All these movies prep Bruce, culminating for his martial arts genre for the US. Man, Warner Brothers saw what Lee had done. It all comes down to money, really, for Warner Brothers. They didn't give a damn about the dream that Lee had. All they cared about was the fact that this guy can bring us money. He knew that. Working in the industry, he knew that. So when he started, when they made the deal, he even knew the script was meh. Compared to what he had worked with, Bruce was looking at that Enter the Dragon script like,
turn that sideways and stick it straight up. You can do it.
But you can't focus on that. Enter the Dragon was more than just a script, it was Lee's dream. It was finally happening. You have to understand too, he was a father, he was a husband, having to maintain that life too and still maintain your dreams. Lucky for him, he had a family that supported him and knew that what he was doing was bigger than all of them.
And then, Paul, you got this cockamamie writer who I'd never heard of, who you love. Michael Allen.
Came up and he turned out a wonderful first draft.
Stop the cap!
And Be Water, my friend, The Teachings of Bruce Lee by Shannon Lee, his daughter, which I highly recommend to any Bruce Lee fan out there. In the book, we have an accurate breakdown of what filming Enter the Dragon was for Lee from his daughter's point of view. During this time, he did not go to set. Having said that, when I watched the behind the scenes, the producers made it seem like Lee didn't know what the heck he was doing. As if he was shy, he didn't know how the movie business worked.
Well, the interesting thing is when we started the film, Bruce was so nervous he didn't want to start.
His vision was far more important. Hey, you know, this is that spirit. Nobody asked me, but this is that spirit that everyone loves about Bruce Lee.
Started shooting the picture, and Bruce did not show up.
All of his input in the film that was his film was not being put to work. And so for 2 weeks, Bruce sat at home, and I'm sure it drove him nuts. With Bruce, the star, not on the set, they started filming, but you know, you can only go so far when you don't have the man of the hour. Until finally they were like, we will make the altercations. He wanted to change the title because the title before Enter the Dragon was Blood and Steel. His stage name is Li Xiu Lung, which means Little Dragon Li. So Enter the Dragon, this was his debut, bro. This was his first studio album. And you want to call it Blood and Steel? Nah, bro, this is Enter the Dragon because I'm here. I'm finally here.
What's your style?
My style? You can call it the art of fighting without fighting.
Basically, because of his protest of 2 weeks, his artistic eye and philosophy was incorporated into the movie. They weren't gonna have the finger pointing to the moon scene. The art of fighting without fighting. All these little gems was not in any of those movies during that time. Premiering to an America that probably was still in mourning. Premiered on August 19th, a month after Bruce's death. Yeah. The man had accomplished so much, and one can only imagine what was next. Enter the Dragon became the first and most influential martial arts movie in the US. Bruce's artistic philosophy was incorporated into the movie thanks to his...
You can call it the art of fighting without fighting.
It's not just a martial arts movie. It's a swan song for a man who thought very highly of himself, which is nothing wrong. Today we have so few male role models with wisdom who admire philosophy, confidence, and inner and outer strength, vulnerability, with enough masculinity to protect the ones that they care about. Rarely do we see that man portrayed on screen. So that's why we have to go back, because I feel like that man was portrayed, and there's nothing wrong with that man.
Bruh.
So, if you, my friend, are in need of a great film for the fellas, because I watched it with my wife, and I can tell you right now, it's definitely not a chick flick. So, like I said, Fathom is releasing the 50th anniversary of Enter the Dragon. And so I'm gonna do a reaction clip to that because I know that I want to share that with y'all, and I know y'all would probably really want to see that. So, behind more than just stylized violence, but contributed to providing a form of positive change in the world. Enter the Dragon. Bruce Lee, man, will forever live on.
You have offended my family, and you have offended the Shaolin Temple.
Nobody asked you, bull boy.